Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dima Arinze. Today I'm making a special video for people who are trying to transition from student visa to skilled worker visa in the UK. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to switch from a student visa to skilled worker visa in the UK. I arrived in the UK in 2020 for a master's degree. At that point, the rule that allows international students to be granted a 2-year post-study work visa had not come in place, but it was coming in place the year of our graduation, and we're hoping that we would be a part of that, new rule. However, that wasn't the case. By the time we were finishing our master's degree, they had a couple of, would I say, meetings or like seminars or whatever it is with students, telling us how we're not included and how we'd have to either look for a sponsorship on our own or look for alternative plans. For me at that point, it was very tricky because I was pregnant. Imagine looking for a job when you're pregnant. I was pregnant. I was going to have a baby soon. I didn't want to do another master's degree. I just wanted to get a work visa. I did a course that was for a year, which was why people like me were not included in the new rule, because it was a 1-year course, so January to January, and the rule was coming in place in September. So of course we were not included, even if we graduated the year that the rule was coming in place. Immediately I arrived in the UK for my master's degree, I started applying for a job. I didn't wait for when it was almost time. To be honest, guys, I started applying for a job from the moment I arrived in the UK. 3 months into my master's degree, COVID struck. Oh my god, which even made it worse. So I couldn't do my 20 hours job. I definitely couldn't find a job at the time. And I had to do my master's degree remotely. COVID was a horrible period, but at least we got to do the master's degree at home, and it didn't really stress me because I was pregnant at the time. Fast forward to January, when it was time for me to graduate. I had 4 months, because usually after your master's, you have 4 months on your visa, which allows you to apply for jobs and get a sponsor or an alternative route. I'm a Christian, and that was a very sensitive period for me, so I knew that at that point I had to pray earnestly and fervently, and I had to have faith like never before. Luckily, my husband is also a believer, so we joined our faith together, and we really believed God that somehow we were going to get sponsorship to remain in the country. Either myself or him, either ways was fine for us. Eventually I got a job and they were willing to sponsor, which is the essence of this video. So I'm going to tell you guys pointers, some of the things that I did that helped me land that job. So the number one thing I did was I really prayed, and I really believed, I had strong faith that somehow God was going to keep us in the UK, because personally I like the UK. I eventually got a job that sponsored me via LinkedIn. Yes. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some pointers on how I landed a job that took me from student visa to skilled worker visa. The first thing I did was I prayed fervently, and I had strong faith. I knew that I couldn't do anything for myself without the help of God. I prayed, I believed that God had heard my prayer, and I had strong faith that I was going to get a job that would sponsor me. This video is also my testimony, because I couldn't have made that switch without the help of God. And it's a testimony because the job I eventually did, I never had to apply for it. They reached out to me and told me that they had seen my profile and they really liked my profile and that they would like to work with me. Then we started the interview process. First thing that I would advise whoever wants to switch from student visa to skilled worker visa is, first you have to believe God. And then the second thing that I did was I applied extensively, and I applied continuously and consistently. You have to be consistent with your applications. You can't just apply once a week and hope to get a job. No, you have to train multiple applications per day. Yes, multiple applications per day, because that's the only way that you put your CV and your skills in front of so many recruiters. I mean, you're looking for sponsorship, you want to do that effectively. So what I did was I applied every day. I told you guys that I started applying from the moment I got into the UK. However, I didn't get a job until a year after, mostly because of COVID. So imagine that you only apply once a week or once a month. That is really going to slow you down. My advice is apply consistently. Continue to put in your application. It would get into the hands of the right recruiter, and you are going to get your job with sponsorship. Another point is you have to utilize job search apps. I got my job on LinkedIn. Do not underestimate the power of LinkedIn. Recruiters are always reaching out to people who are open to work on LinkedIn. Ensure that your profile is updated, your profile is very attractive, and that your profile is honest. Put all the skills that you have on your profile, any work experience that you have on your profile. Make it clear that you are available to work, and always check your LinkedIn. Don't leave it to check in a month. Don't leave it to check. Don't check it on a weekly basis. Check your LinkedIn on a daily basis, because sometimes when these recruiters send you messages on LinkedIn, they're not sending it to only you. They're sending it to you and a whole lot of other people who have same skills as you. So when you receive that message, go through that message, reply that message immediately. It increases your chances of landing that job. The next point is when you finally land an interview. When you land the interview, don't take it for granted. Remember, you are trying to switch from student visa to a skilled worker visa. You need to tell them why you are better than nationals who can do that job, or other international students who can also do that job. So you need to prepare very well for your interview. If it requires for you to practice on and on, please practice on and on. Thanks to my friend who was very, very helpful during my preparation for my interview, and my husband who also helped me prepare and practice for my interviews. At any point, he would just ask me questions and see how I answer those questions. My husband and my friend made sure that I owned all the possible interview questions that I'll be asked, and when I'm asked, I would have the right answers to those interview questions. So you need to be very, very prepared for your interview, because it's a period of decision. You know that if you don't do very well, they're most likely going to go with the next person, and at that point you want to switch from student visa to a skilled worker visa. You have to make sure that you are the best candidate that they will come across. Another point is, while you're preparing and practicing for your interview, you need to research on that company that you want to work for and the interviewers. Interviewers like to know that you did a little bit of check on them before your interview. So once you're giving your interviewer's name, go on LinkedIn, check on your interviewers, see their profile. When you check their profile, you get an insight on what they are like, topics that they're passionate about, and these are some of the things that you tell them that will make them comfortable with you when you're interviewing. Also research on the company, because there's no company that wants to hire someone who doesn't know anything about them, someone who doesn't know the company's values and culture. So before you go for that interview, ensure that you have done a proper check and research on that company. It's your findings from the research that will enable you win the heart of the interviewers. When you're doing your interview, ensure that you are very clear that you would require sponsorship for this role. I know that students have a 2-year post-study visa now, but you still want to make it clear that you require sponsorship now or down the line while you're working for that company. Personally, I'll say if you can get the sponsorship immediately, please get the sponsorship immediately, because you want your years to start counting for your ILR, because your student years don't count towards your ILR. So if you can get a sponsorship immediately after your school, it makes it easier, and then the years to your indefinitely to remain begin to count. Personally, these are the things that I did that helped me switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. Remember, start to apply for jobs on time. Make sure that you optimize every job search application that you can come through. There are so many websites that you can look for jobs on, and try and filter for those that give you sponsorship. Also look for other jobs at the time, because you have the grace of 2 years. However, you still want to be sponsored as quickly as possible. So make sure that you search extensively and consistently. Apart from that, you also have to apply consistently and extensively, because you want to put your CV in front of as many recruiters as possible. Don't just rely on Indeed, LinkedIn, JobServe. Make a list of the companies that you really want to work for, the websites of the companies that you want to work for, and check for vacancies that they have that are in line with the skills and your career path, and apply directly. That application goes straight to the hiring manager. That is a faster way to even get a job. If you're very bold and you see a job that you really liked on LinkedIn, go ahead and speak to the hiring manager. Hiring managers like confident people. So if you go ahead and speak to a hiring manager, you kind of increase your chances if you have the right skill. Another advice that I'll give is, while you're a student and you already have an idea of what the career path you want is, try to get trained or get some sort of experience in that area. Even if it means you volunteering, even if it means you being an intern in that area, that gives you a little bit of a UK work experience, which gives you an edge when you're applying. I didn't have any UK work experience. I was hired solely on my Nigerian work experience. That's why I continue to say my job is a testimony. How God brought about that job, I still don't know, but God brought that job at the nick of time. First time I spoke with the manager that I was going to work with, he just liked me and he did everything within his power to make sure that he worked with me. So I was just favored by God to get my job. And I know that God that favored me to get my job is still favoring people. So do your part. Pray, trust God, have strong faith, and God is going to grant you your heart desire. Another advice I'll give is make sure that you are clear that you require sponsorship. Some employers might not want to sponsor you because you have 2 years post-study visa. Hiring you is probably going to cost them money, and chances are along the way, if you don't like the job, you might say you don't want to do the job anymore. Try to make it as clear as possible that you require sponsorship for that role before you get in too deep with the whole process, because you really want an employer that will hire you on time, and then the yes to your ILR begins to count, which just makes it easier. Well, that's what I did, and that was how I switched from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. I really hope this video helps someone today, and not just helps, but also encourages someone that God hears us when we pray and he knows exactly what we need. So if you're believing God for a miracle to switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa because you're at the nick of time, don't worry. God sees your heart, God knows what you did, and God is going to grant you your desires. Remember to do your part. Ensure that you optimize your LinkedIn profile. You put out applications and you prepare very well for your interviews. These are some of the things that you need to do for yourself to help you switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. And with all the laws coming in every day, you don't need to finish your master's degree to switch from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I really love for you to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and comment on my videos. Thank you again for watching. Bye.